So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ginny Funk, who's going to be working with Sam and Heather Armstrong on the younger onset experience.
Thanks, Byron.
I wish I would have landed on the moon, but last name's Alberti.
Sorry, Sam.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I get the privilege of talking to these two, the Valverdes, to share their stories so that we can all learn a little bit about younger onset. And then I promise we will take a break. So good morning.
Good morning.
How are y'all doing?
Good to see you.
Heather and Samuel. I told Byron you don't need to read a long bio of these two because we're about to learn a whole bunch from them. So, you ready?
Yes.
All right, let's go. So, Samuel, I want to start off by asking you to just share a little bit about yourself and your diagnosis.
Feel free to take a break. I know we've been sitting for a long time. My name is Sam Alberti. This is my wife, Heather. I may have to read some of this. My memory fails me sometimes. So, I was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's, primary progressive aphasia, at the age of 53. I'm a Desert Storm combat veteran, Desert Storm Army combat veteran, and I served 9 years in the military, followed by 14 years in law enforcement. I actually was a police chief for 5 years in Wilder, Texas. Growing up, my 6 siblings and I were blessed to have the best parents anyone could ask for. I didn't have a lot. Well, we didn't have a lot, but we had what mattered. Mom was nothing short of amazing. She was a stay-at-home mom. She raised 7 kids without a hitch and made it look easy. She maintained the household while singing church hymns in Spanish and reading God's Word several times a day. My dad was by far the most decent, the hardest working person I've ever known in my life. Sorry about that. They instilled in us a hard work ethic. My dad would tell me, "Hijo, Samuel, you're going to have to work twice as hard as the next guy to get ahead in life." And he wasn't wrong.
Thank you very much for sharing a little bit about your large family and the background of your parents. Incredible. Heather, can you tell us a little bit about the two of you and your family?
Sure. Sam and I, we live in New Braunfels, and we met in 2011. At the time, I was working as a library assistant, and Sam was working as a police officer. We met through a neighbor, and we just connected immediately. And we married in 2013, and we're approaching our 12th anniversary in October. For those that don't know Sam,
I failed to mention that we were married for 12 years, but it seems to me that we've been on our honeymoon.
So for people that don't know Sam, I would describe him as a man of faith. He is kind and compassionate, and he's also one of the most determined people that I know. Some of our favorite things to do are just sit on the porch and talk. And we enjoy walking our dog Elijah and going to the park. We find joy in the everyday moments, and we lean on each other through the challenges.
Thank you very much for sharing. I can recall a year ago, we got to meet your dog Elijah because you brought Elijah here to the conference, and that was really special. And generally, The three of you are never apart, so we're kind of missing Elijah this morning.
Yeah, he's home. Somehow he hurt his paw. He started to limp, so
Sorry.
we got him some medication, so he's resting right now. But yeah, we miss him. He's attached to us.
There's a picture right there. There's Elijah. So Samuel, what signs did your family notice after you returned from Desert Storm?
What did he do after Desert Storm? Shortly returning from the war, I remember that my parents would plead with me to go see the doctor because I wasn't myself. And they endured, they saw their youngest son exhibiting and demonstrating severe symptoms of PTSD. That what we know now is PTSD. War changes people. War can change a person. It's hard. It was hard to mask. It was some of the deepest wounds that anybody that goes through trauma knows that it keeps going over and over, playing in your head, and you can't erase it. So when I finally went to the VA, I saw other people, other older veterans there. They were the war heroes. They were the ones missing limbs. They were World War II veterans, Vietnam veterans, Korean. I felt out of place. I felt like I didn't see anyone there that looked like me. I was a younger male, full of testosterone. I didn't think that I had my limbs. I had all my limbs. I had all my faculties at the time, and I didn't want to waste or take up space. The damage that I had sustained was between my 2 ears, I think, after all the concussions and the stuff that were exposed to, stuff like that. Let's see there.
Thank you for sharing that. Can you share with us a little bit about when you first started noticing changes in your memory?
When I got back from the war, shortly after I met Heather, I was struggling with at work. I was forgetting things. I was forgetting court dates. I was forgetting. There was blanks in my report writing. There was blanks in my memory, my cognitive functions. The protocol just didn't come. There would be gaps of just blank, and I would draw blank, and it was increasing the cognitive and memory loss was increasing to where I couldn't mask, and my coworkers noticed that my work was not it was a hard time for me because they saw that I wasn't functioning at my full capacity, and they noticed that, and so So after that, I think,
So in 2021, Sam was hospitalized, and he then began to receive more intensive care. And from there, he met Dr. Klein, as a very special doctor to us.
Dr. Catherine Klein was pivotal, and she actually, I was seeing her for severe depression, or PTSD, and she noticed right off the bat that there was something else wrong. She said that this is something other than PTSD. She noticed that the word finding, the words didn't come to me, and the speech and stuff. And so she saw that, and thank God that she suspected it was neurological, and she got a neurologist referral, and yeah, so.
Okay, so seeing the neurologist and that experience of getting the diagnosis, what was it like for you, Heather, to receive that information, and how do you feel about his care team now?
I was completely unprepared for Sam's Alzheimer's diagnosis at age 53. I don't think anyone is prepared for this at any age. We met with a neurologist. She ordered the PET scan, and after completing the PET scan, we were driving home, and we noticed that we had missed the call from the neurologist. Apparently, the results were already in. We immediately called back, played phone tag, and just misconnecting with the doctor. And so we didn't know what was wrong. And we eventually, and we found out a few days later, that to our shock, that Sam had an abnormal brain scan indicating early onset Alzheimer's disease. A week later, we received the same report in the mail. No explanation, no next steps, or recommendations. Reading a terminal illness diagnosis without a doctor explaining it is terrifying. I had the most basic questions. What is younger onset Alzheimer's? How fast does it progress? What stage is Sam in? And what are our treatment options? And the treatment options that we were told were very grim. We were told no medication, placement in a nursing home. And there was no mention of resources like the Alzheimer's Association, nothing. Thankfully, with Sam's psychologist, Dr. Klein, we were able to advocate for another neurologist. And we eventually found a wonderful team of doctors. Sam has a primary care doctor, a psychologist, psychiatrist, neurologist, and speech therapist at the VA. And one of the biggest blessings to us now is that his doctors communicate with each other and they communicate with us.
Amen.
The coordination has been life-changing, and it's the kind of care that every family deserves. We are grateful for the ones who saw Sam, and not just the symptoms, but the person behind them. And that's what makes the difference.
Thank you so much for sharing that. All right. I hope that you all have been seeing these phenomenal photos that have been flashing all around the room of their life together. Sam, what would you change if we all understood that Alzheimer's doesn't care who you are and acted early together?
Jenny, our story is one of many, but every story matters. We need systems that listen, respond, and walk with families, and not just to diagnose and disappear. If you're a caregiver, a healthcare worker, if you're a policymaker, we invite you to help us build a future where no one faces dementia alone. It's going to take all of us, and it's going to take all of us to work together, because together we are better.
Thanks for bringing in the theme of our conference, Better Together. Oh, thank you so much. Heather, will you share a little bit about just the support that you have received so that others can know what's out there and what's available?
Sure. The Alzheimer's Association has just been such a lifeline, and they, I called the hotline, I spoke with the person on the phone, and they just walked me through what is Alzheimer's and all of my questions, and they gave me more of an understanding of what is to happen, what to expect, and where to go next. We connected with our local chapter and discovered programs and services that have made a real difference. One of the main meaningful connections for Sam is that he found a younger onset support group, and it's a space where he is encouraged, understood, surrounded by others who are walking a similar path. And that kind of community is invaluable. Sam also served on an early stage advisory group with the Alzheimer's Association. He's had the opportunity to speak nationally and locally, sharing his story to raise awareness and push for change. Together, we participated in Walks to End Alzheimer's, and we're currently using the association's clinical trial match to find a trial that Sam can join. It's our way of contributing for the search for a cure and staying hopeful.
Whew. So the two of you are just phenomenal in the self-advocacy that you've done. I feel like you have literally just jumped into doing so many things that hopefully have made this a journey where you are not alone, being involved in trial match, seeing what possible clinical trials are available that you could participate in, coming to Walk to End Alzheimer's, using the helpline. There's so many things. Anything else that you want to share that's been helpful for you?
Well, I think it was, like Heather said, when you get this news, it's a gut punch, and it's devastating. But I think the one thing, if there's anything that I'm very thankful for, is that we reached out to the Alzheimer's Association. I was done with counseling, and I was done with therapy and stuff, and through the VA. But I did try this one with Heather's request. I went to a group meeting, and that's the best thing that ever happened to me with this diagnosis, because it was you are surrounded with people that from the Alzheimer's Association that know that there are. It's just an incredible organization that really fills in, provides all kind of information, and it's been pivotal in our case.
Thank you very much. In that group of younger onset individuals, would you just share maybe just a little bit of one thing that y'all talk about?
Well, I'm sure y'all know I have Tony Gonzalez is part of that. I happen to be in a group that is just fascinating. They're all go-getters. They participate. They just it's an incredible group, and that group helped change the trajectory of how I handle this. We need each other, and you're gonna, to have people like-minded, and you don't want to isolate, but you want to surround yourself with people that are like in this room right now. It's just amazing.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We have a little time. Would it be okay if we see if anyone has any questions?
Well, absolutely.
Anybody?
There's one back there.
Samuel, would you please tell us which support group you went to?
The question is, what support group we went to? The support group is actually online. It's with the Alzheimer's Association.
Give them all the details.
Call the helpline, and these people are just amazingly resourceful.
Or again, stop by the table. Yeah, stop by the Alzheimer's table. They'll have all the list of all the support groups in town.
I was fortunate to have a wife that called Alzheimer's and followed through with it.
No?
Any last words y'all want to share?
It's just good to see everybody here and to not feel alone.
What an incredible blessing, two of you all. Incredible blessing. Thank you for sharing such your personal, very personal story. It helps all of us to hear from you. Yes, Byron?
We're sorry, we had one question.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention and congratulate Samuel Wright, because you have said you're diagnostic and you were challenging and going through. And it's very, very hard to accept that kind of benefits, because there's a lot of people that they don't want to recognize that they're going through, and that's what it's worse. And it is worse.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I'll bring up a good point. I want to say that the statistics, being a Latino group and minorities are more at risk, higher risk of getting diagnosed with this. And so, with my background, I felt that my duty and obligation, it was devastating, but I have a due diligence to get awareness out there and do my part in getting a cure for this disease.
Amen. Amen. Thank you all very much.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Sam and Heather Armstrong, hyphenated Valverde. Yeah, thank you for your service. And I know Sam and Heather Valverde. I went by the script, by the way, which said Armstrong. So I'm usually accused of going off script, so I'm going to do that real quick. And I'm going to pull Chelsea Rangel up to talk to us about Prop 14. Jenny's going to kill me, but I don't care. I feel like it fits perfectly right here.
Perfect. Good morning, everyone. My name is Chelsea Rangel, and I had the privilege to talk to some of y'all this morning. If you see people with purple stickers, that means they have already pledged to vote yes for Proposition 14. I'm going to talk very briefly about a ballot initiative, and I promise it's not Project Marvel. So this is a proposition that directly affects every single one of us in this room, and it is Proposition 14. So earlier this year in the 89th Texas legislative session, there was a bill that was passed, and it was called DPRIT. It stands for Dementia Prevention Research Institute of Texas, DPRIT. So this is a bill that had bipartisan support. It was touted by the Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. It passed the Senate, it passed the House, it was signed into law. What that bill does is creates a research hub in Texas, specifically where there will be funds for dementia research. What that means now is that on the November 4th ballot, you will have the opportunity to vote yes on Proposition 14. Now, what this proposition does is it funds DCRITs at $3 billion. I'm going to repeat that. $3 billion, with a B, dollars over 10 years. So what that looks like is about $300 million every single year. So think of it as a research grant program based in Texas to bring the best, the brightest to our state to do this research. So you have an opportunity to change the trajectory of this disease when you go to vote this November. And we have on your tables, not all of them because this is a big crowd, but you will have a sign that says yes on Proposition 14. If you scan the QR code, this will allow you to pledge to vote yes. This will ensure that you receive additional reminders, because I know there's a lot happening in the world right now, but this will let you know when there's deadlines to register, when early voting starts. And if you're interested in getting involved on the volunteer side for advocacy, we welcome you as well. And lastly, I will make sure that you all leave with a flyer that has all the information you need about this proposition.
And there's no tax raise. It's money that's already there. It's actually out of the surplus. So no new taxes, no new taxes. Okay, well with that, with no new taxes, I'm going to introduce Martha Kay with Helping Our Seniors. She is one of our wonderful vendors today, so thank you, Martha, for helping to support in such a wonderful way this conference.
And Brian, thank you. This is our third year to participate, and we certainly appreciate the opportunity to do that and to visit with you all for a minute. Helping Our Seniors has been, Helping Our Seniors has been providing caregivers for almost 19 years. In doing that, of course, we've encountered a number of people who have dementia, but so much. About 2 years ago, we realized there are caregivers who were coming into the office and telling us that they were encountering more and more dementia. We said, uh-oh, it's time for us to do something. So 2 years ago, we started our dementia project. I've been telling people, if you can come up with a cuter, smarter name for it, let me know, because I don't think that's all that right, but that's what it is. What we have done in the Dementia Project is we first of all started training our caregivers. And our caregivers have some very rigorous materials to go over to become a certified dementia caregiver. We now have 9 certified dementia caregivers, and of course we're counting. In addition to that, we have prepared materials or workshops for people who have loved ones or in any way, shape, or form you are encountering people who have dementia and need to know and understand better how to take care of this person, how to interact with them, how to answer them, talk to them. In other words, in such a way that their life will be smoother and happier. And guess what? If they're happier, then you will be too. So that's the part, that's the direction that we're going in with our workshops. If any of y'all would like to have some more information on what we're doing, by all means visit our booth next door, and we'll be more than happy to visit with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Martha. And then next week, quickly, we have the Gonzaga Foundation, who's going to come up and talk to us about the wonderful work they do. They sponsored our coffee this morning, so the reason you're awake is because of the Gonzaga Foundation.
Good morning, my name is Henry, and I am the program manager for the Gonzaga Foundation. And this is Amanda, she just started working with us. Let me tell you a little bit about what we do. We have different kinds of programs. We have a pamphlet here that tells you about our programs. We have a grass buster program that we have for senior citizens 16 and over. You know how you got co-compliance goes around to your houses and they look at your grass and stuff, and if your grass is high they give you a violation or a warning. If you get a warning, you can give us a call. and we'll go cut your grass. So you don't have to pay the violation. But you have to be 60 and over. Okay? Another program that we offer is our pantry program, our food pantry. We do this once a month, every month, at different locations throughout the city. So what it is that we give out boxes of vegetables and fruit to anybody 60 and over. And all you do is call our numbers in the back, and we'll hold you a box. You don't have to get there at 6 o'clock in the morning and get in line. No. With us, our program is from 10 to 12, and you're guaranteed a box as long as you register. Another one is that we do have a hygiene giveaway that we offer for seniors. You know, if anybody needs, or you know somebody that needs a hygiene kit, on that hygiene kit, we offer, it's a towel, we have soap, we have deodorant, toothbrush, toothpaste, stuff like that that seniors might need, that you know somebody that might need it. One time.
Yes, hi. Hope everybody had a good morning, enjoyed the coffee. I know it was going quick, but my name's Amanda, and yes, it's definitely been a blessing to jump into the foundation and provide the services to the 60-plus community and just giving as much of these resources as possible. So if you or anybody you know is in need of any of these services, reach out. We're ready to say yes. So, yeah.
One more thing. The last 2 years, I just came on, I'm going on 3 years. I used to work for the city. So I used to work for Parks and Recreation. So I know what it is to work with seniors. So I used to work with seniors for 15 years. We do have a program called Silver Club, the Spurs Silver Club. So what it is that we buy tickets, about 1,000 to 1,200 tickets, and we give it to the seniors 60 and over so they can go and see a game. So, and then also, when we do that, there's a selection of 30 seniors, and they get to go do a high squat dance in the middle of the court. So, yes. Yes. And these are seniors. We have a 96-year-old that does it. So she's out there doing that with us. So, thank you for your time. Give us a call. We're in the back room over there also. Pick up one of these. If somebody needs, that you know somebody needs it, or you might want to come pick up a pantry or anything, you're welcome.
Thank you guys very much. And they were a little bashful, because I'm going to tell you the Gonzaga Foundation does so much more than even that. So thank you guys. They're everywhere in the city, lots of support, especially with dementia and caregivers. With that, you are free to roam. So please go next door, get those bingo cards filled out, and we'll meet back here in just a little over 20 minutes.
Welcome back to Focus on South Texas. The Better Together Caregiver Conference is happening August 23rd. It's a chance for professionals and families affected by Alzheimer's to find connection and resources. Here to tell us about the event is Director of Programs with the Alzheimer's Association, Ginny Funk, and Manager of the Walk to End Alzheimer's, Anna Schragen. Welcome to the show, both of you. So I want to start off, Ginny, if you can give us information about Alzheimer's diseases and dementia, and really explaining the difference between the two.
Okay, so that is by far the most commonly asked question that we get. The best way we try to describe it is a visual of an umbrella. The umbrella term is dementia. And dementia means someone's having cognitive loss, but it's progressively getting worse and worse and worse. And the question is, under the umbrella, we call the long handle Alzheimer's disease, because Alzheimer's disease causes people to have dementia symptoms, but there are over 100 causes of dementia symptoms. So the difference is trying to discover and figure out if someone's having cognitive loss, whether it's memory loss or several other different things, is that caused by Alzheimer's disease, or could that be caused even by something that's reversible and treatable? So it's really important to find out those dementia symptoms, what's causing those.
Yes, so interesting. And I will share that, the biggest reason why I moved back to San Antonio was for my grandmother. And she went to the doctor because she was having some short-term memory loss, and they noticed that it was getting progressively worse. She is now on medication to try to slow some of that, but dementia, and really I've just seen her in different waves progress and then regress. And so it's been really interesting. And so I know a big factor that plays a part is activity, right? And
Yes.
getting that person moving and doing memory type cognitive activities, and so I really try and do that with her. She also has someone that comes over, but talk about that, because it's been interesting seeing her when there are times when I feel like she's not her best. It's because she's less active, and then she's a lot better with her short-term memory when she is active and getting exercise and walking around.
I'm so glad that is a perfect example of something that is actually coming out of there's an international conference on Alzheimer's. Every year it's international, and research studies are actually shown throughout this entire conference. And one of the major findings is that this pointer study that was done in the United States, the findings show that keeping active, physical, challenging our brain, not being isolated, but being very interactive with other people, actually can help slow down cognitive loss. That applies to all of us, but also to people who already have some type of dementia, where having those activities, those challenges, interacting with other people, it makes a big difference.
Oh yeah, it does. And like with my grandmother, it is that short-term, long-term. She remembers pretty well. She knows who I am, so I am so thrilled with that.
Yes.
But it's kind of remembering the day-to-day things. What did you have, for dinner?
Yes.
And so I think really focusing in on spending quality time where we're playing those games like bingo or like matching games, those have been key into getting her to progress. But also, talking about the Caregivers Conference, I know that that is coming up, and, I think that's important as well. My mom and her sisters are the caregivers, along with, they just recently hired someone that could be with my grandmother 24/7.
Okay.
But being a caregiver, you learn those skills that you need to be, there and be able to offer that person what they really need to make sure that they are getting the best resources, right? And so talk about how the Caregiver Conference can help.
Well, your family is exactly who we want to try to reach with this conference. We have it annually, and it is open to the public. It's open for caregivers. It's open for professionals. We do have CEUs available for social workers and nurses. But the goal of the day, and we hold it at UT Health. We partnered with them for years. They have a wonderful conference room, and we invite people to come, and we have different presentations throughout the day, including the latest research. We're going to hear about the pointer study, of course, individuals living with the disease, day-to-day tips on just how do you deal with this? How do you get through this? And trying to have as much support available for caregivers who attend.
Yeah.
We also have a second location this year, so for people who don't go to the medical center, we're going to Last Chance Ministries. And then we have a wonderful group that we work with to be able to have it on Zoom. So
great.
if people can't come in person, they can join on Zoom.
I love that. Definitely a lot of different options to get people involved, right?
Yes.
Well, the fall months will be here soon, and that's a time for viewers to support Alzheimer's research at the Walk to End Alzheimer's. And what are some of the details for this year's walk here in San Antonio and New Braunfels? And I will say, I did help in the past in the Austin Walk. So,
yeah, thank you.
Wonderful. So the Walk to End Alzheimer's is the association's largest fundraiser for research, care, and support. So the San Antonio Walk to End Alzheimer's is number 29 from last year in revenue raised, out of 640 walks nationwide for the Walk to End Alzheimer's. That's incredible.
Yeah.
This year, the Walk to End Alzheimer's in San Antonio is November 8th at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas, and the New Braunfels Walk is Saturday, October 11th at Landa Park.
I love that. So how can viewers register? Is there still time? Because I know a lot of people are going to be wanting to take part in this walk.
Absolutely. You can visit alz.org/San Antonio Walk, and you'll visit all of our chapter walks. So we have New Braunfels, San Antonio, and our 5 other walks within our chapter, and you can register anytime.
Yeah, talk about how those walks are, right? I mean, I'm sure you see people with big families. There's also, big groups that get together that maybe wear all the same shirts to support their loved ones. So talk about just being there, and even if you're walking slow or walking at a fast pace, I mean, it's a time to bring people together.
Absolutely. Said it very well. The San Antonio Walk is inside of Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. It is an easy 1.4 miles, open for all ages and abilities. Anyone can join. We also have dogs, so you can bring your well-behaved dog on a leash this year to the San Antonio Walk. And what we really do is we honor those we've lost, and we uplift families that are still fighting, and we're fighting for that cure.
I love that. Well, why is it important for health professionals and caregivers to be at the same conference about Alzheimer's?
Absolutely, because we're going to be able to share information, share the latest information, and make sure that families as well as professionals know they do not have to go on this journey alone. There are so many resources in our community, and we want to share those. So we really appreciate this opportunity to share about the conference.
Yes, definitely. And how can viewers stay up to date with what the Alzheimer's Association is doing, not just with the walk or the conference, but other things if they want to get involved?
I would say the website, alz.org. Our chapter-specific website is alz.org/San Antonio. We also have a 24-hour helpline that's available, so if anybody needs anything, please call us. It's 24 hours a day. We'll be able to help.
Lastly, words of encouragement for families. At times it can be difficult, and you'll see signs of regression like I witnessed with my grandmother, but words of encouragement of staying strong through that time and knowing that there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Absolutely. We want for families to know there are resources. We want to we kind of call it, we want to wrap our arms around you and support you on this journey, no matter if you're at the beginning or the middle or even towards the end or after. We want to be available for families and professionals to know there are a lot of resources and we can link them to them. They don't have to go through this alone. One of the most commonly heard things we also hear is, wish I would have known. I hear that we hear that every day. Wish we would have known. Wish we would have known about the Alzheimer's Association before we went on this journey, so we knew how to handle certain things and how do you deal with all of this? It's so difficult.
Well, thank you so much for being so open, Ginny and Anna. Thank you.
Thank you.
Being a caregiver for a family member is an all-consuming job. It's getting harder with the current economy as a lot of prices on things continue to rise.
Yeah, the state says there are about 3.4 million family caregivers just in Texas whose unpaid care amounts to about $41 billion. About a third of those caregivers have loved ones with dementia.
As Courtney Friedman reports, that's why the local Alzheimer's Association is holding a big event this month to offer many types of support for free.
Called him the gentle giant. He was just such a nice man, and he had such a good sense of humor, and he had just this uproarious laugh.
Kathleen Schott's husband of 54 years, Jim, was diagnosed with Alzheimer's in 2018.
And he just passed away May 29th, so it was very, very recent.
She spent years as Jim's caregiver, an incredibly tough job.
And it's isolating because you're so totally focused on caregiving.
Kathleen says it became harder with the current economy.
Oh, everything is so much more expensive. It's crazy.
Have you noticed things like medical supplies or the things that your husband needed were pricier as well?
Well, of course they are. The supplies are essential, and none of it's covered.
That's why she was grateful that she reached out to the Alzheimer's Association, where she found so many types of support. Much of that found at the annual conferences, offering education on dementia, but also resources for caregivers.
If you're thinking about a residential placement, if you want to know about memory cafes, if you want to know who has support groups, who has things to offer, like the diaper bank, or the food bank, and you can bring your loved one because they'll have respite care.
Kathleen will sit on the Caregivers panel this year and offer her experiences and advice.
Don't be in denial. Realize you're in a situation, be proactive, reach out there and accept all the help that's available. You have more support, and that allows you to be more supportive of your loved one.
Keeping Jim's memory alive by sharing his story with others. Courtney Friedman, KSAT 12 News.
The Alzheimer's Association is so valuable. They've helped so many people, including myself, with my mother who suffers from Alzheimer's. The Caregivers Conference is Saturday, August 23rd from 8:30 in the morning till 3. For the first time, it's going to be held in 2 locations in town and on Zoom. You can register on the Alzheimer's Association website.
It's a disease that affects nearly 500,000 Texans over the age of 65, Alzheimer's. It deeply impacts so many families, including mine. This weekend, I had the honor of being part of the conference hosted by the Alzheimer's Association South Texas chapter. The focus was on awareness, education, and support. More importantly, making sure no one is alone on this journey. Alzheimer's doesn't just affect those diagnosed, it touches entire families. She may not remember what exactly we did the day before, but she remembers that I'm there with her, and that's all that matters to me. I was able to share my own personal story about my grandmother at the opening of the Better Together Caregiver Conference this past Saturday. I was noticing that her short-term memory wasn't doing that great, and she was later diagnosed with dementia. And I knew I had to move back. She's so important to me. And since I moved back over the last year, I have learned so much about the disease. A total of 300 people took part in the conference between the 2 site locations and online option. The nearly 7-hour day filled with vendors offering resources and several presentations, including information on legal and financial support.
They don't want that person at home to become destitute trying to pay for their loved one's care.
People in attendance heard from those who work on the front lines of this disease to those living with it.
There was blanks in my memory, my cognitive function.
Samuel Valverde was diagnosed with younger onset Alzheimer's disease in 2022. He's a combat veteran who had been battling chronic PTSD, but it wasn't until he was referred to a neurologist when he learned he also had Alzheimer's.
I was completely unprepared for Sam's Alzheimer's diagnosis at age 53. I don't think anyone's prepared for this.
His wife is now his caregiver. They were initially left with so many questions until they found a team of doctors that all worked together.
The biggest blessing to us now is that his doctors communicate with each other and they communicate with us.
Amen.
The coordination has been life-changing, and it's the kind of care that every family deserves.
These are the type of stories that are being shared to bring hope to other families. And if you would like to get involved with the San Antonio, South Texas chapter, their next big event is a Walk to End Alzheimer's. It's set for November 8th at Six Flags Fiesta Texas, starting at 8:30 a.m. So far, more than 780 participants and over 250 teams have signed up, helping to raise over $285,000 for this important cause. And there's still time to join in on this effort and make a big difference in the fight against Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's just robs people of their loved ones, so it's such a terrible disease, and it's wonderful to see that organizations are out there really giving people the resources they need.
Yeah, standing right beside them, showing them the way, how to move forward, how to help your loved one progress as much as possible, and be there at a time when they may feel alone.
Right, and the time they need it the most.